now we move to the second case, documenting traditional performing arts in Cambodia. We went to Cambodia in November and December 1999. And our main focus is to document several Cambodian performing arts in Phnom Penh, and also to document an episode from Svak Tom, large puppet theater in Siem Reap. I have to say the spelling of Svak Tom is a little bit different from the one used by UNESCO or maybe Cambodian government. Because I follow the system by Professor Saman Sam, Cambodian ethnomusicologist, because our project is helped by him. And also, we returned to the Cambodia in March 2000 to document the entire repertoire of Svak Tom. In the first visit, no, I have to introduce Svak Tom briefly. Svak Tom is a shadow theater performing Ramayana. And they use this cow leather. Animal leather is called spike in Khmer. So they use this spike, in which a theme from the tail is carved. And performers act both in front and behind the screen. So you can see, the audience see the performers dance-like movements, and it is also one of the major characteristics of Svak Tom. And the narration is the most vital element of the performance. And narrator recite old verses and also describe a scene in his own verses on the spot. So narrator must have a long experience in the performance. This is the image of Svak Tom. They use a very big, maybe I call puppets. But in the puppets, carved characters with background. So we need many puppets to perform the Ramayana. I think more than 160 puppets are used in Svak Tom. And Svak Tom in Siem Reap, in early 1970s, the Svak were evacuated to Phnom Penh because of the disturbance in Cambodia. And many performers died during the disturbances. And early 1990s, they are given a new set of Svak puppets. So they began to revive the tradition. And in 1999, we went there to document an episode of Svak Tom. And at that time, we were helped with a Japanese woman whose name is Fukutomi. She's like a disciple of Svak Tom. She was learning Svak Tom there. So we are helped by her much. And at that time, Master Tichian is over 80 years old. He is only leader survived the disturbance from the group of Svak Tom. But he wasn't in good health at that time. And also there was no young people capable of inheriting the role of narrator. So many people are anxious to document a whole repertoire played by Master Tichian. So shortly after returning to Japan, we got a fund from Japan Foundation and back to Siem Reap to document the performances of whole repertoire of Svaik Tom. At first, Ms. Fukutomi, who helped us, proposed a 5 nights performance. If we perform with 5 nights, maybe Master Teacher can take rest 2 days or 3 days. But Master Teacher proposed to us the 7 consecutive night performance, like he performed before. So we documented the whole performance of 7 consecutive nights. Each performance lasted maybe 2 hours on each night. And also we documented process of making puppets and interviews with Mr. Tichian. And after that, Mr. Tichian has passed away the same year. It was a very sad news. And we thought, what should I do next? And maybe we have to distribute the video or to a wide range of people, especially to the younger generations of Cambodian people. But Ms. Fukutomi told me that Master Tichian has refused to write down the text for his narration for fear of its being stolen. Maybe some of you say it is that old man, forget about it. But I don't. You know, we have a kind of secret repertoire in some genres in Japanese classical performing arts, like Sita mentioned yesterday. So Japanese also has a secret repertoire. And that repertoire is allowed to those who fulfill the many requirements. And this secret repertoire enhance the incentive to inherit the repertoire, precisely because they have been hidden from many others. So I think the statement by Master Tichian is based on the values and also social order in Siem Reap, especially in the group of Svaik Tom. So we cannot deny his statement, but also we have to. I think we have to distribute the videos, so it's important to build a consensus with performers. It's a very critical point. And 9 years after, we are sort of waiting. And in 2002, we went back to Siem Reap to show the video to the younger generation of the group. Of course, we sent the video to the groups before, but I'd like to have discussion with the younger generations. So we bring the video again and watch the video with them and have a discussion with them. And at that time, grandson of Master Tichian leads the group. And some of the members said in that discussion, we can do much better now. But others say, we have more passion at that time. So I think this opportunity provides them opportunity to look back their performance. I think it's also the important opportunity for us to look back the performing arts to discuss about it. And younger generations also request us to edit a program in Khmer language to show for the children in Cambodia. So after returning to Japan, we made a program in Khmer language. And now we are discussing with them and also with Professor Saman-sam how to show the video in Cambodia. But here we have to think about the impact of video. We have to put the video in the process of transmission, in my opinion, because I already told that video can provide the opportunity to look back their performance and also their activities. So maybe we can put the video in the process of transmission, also the process of practice and process of maybe promoting, educating. So we have to put the video in the process in Cambodia. And we have to think about the power to standardize, power of video to standardize the performance. Maybe some younger generation can learn from the video, but video documented only one particular performance. Maybe performance could be flexible according time to time, place to place, performance to performance. So we can't make only one model of video performance. So we have to think about the power to standardize the performance. So we have to avoid this, but put the video in the process of transmission. And at the conclusion, I'd like to think about the issues in audiovisual documentation. The main issue is the access to the materials and data. Unfortunately, we don't distribute the video yet because we didn't get permission from the performers yet. We are now on the discussion. But if we get the permission, is it a good idea to put the video on the internet, for example? How do you think? Maybe on the internet, many can access the video. But how about the performers in Siem Reap? They do have access to the internet. Maybe some do, but some do not. So we have to make the video available to the wider audiences. But sometimes, for example, if we put the video on the internet, so-called digital divide can happen. So maybe people in Japan or the US or in Thailand can see the video through the internet, but people in Siem Reap, especially the performers, cannot use the internet. So we have to think about whose resources are they, whose resources are these videos. I think the video is primarily for the performers at first point. So we have to think about the way how to show the video to them. So in this point, I have to think about some issues about the concept of the common heritage of mankind and public domain. I think the common heritage of mankind is a great idea. It promotes or encourages the people around the world to preserve their intangible cultural heritage. But sometimes some people think the common heritage of mankind is public domain. So if so, the performance cannot have a right on their own performing arts. Of course, copyright doesn't exist because traditional art exists for a long time, so they will not have copyrights. But if we made a documentary film, the producers of film are granted a copyright. They have a right on the film, but performers don't have any right on the film. So this is a point maybe Sita mentioned yesterday. So we have to think about the right to control the use of the document. I don't have the answer, but I'd like to think about this program with you for the future. Thank you.